Jimmy Party Primary, starting off strong with Jimmy Fallon winning. There are 6 Jimmys left, which means that this primary is getting closer to the end. Very much so. Jimmy Hart did pretty bad last time, but he survived. Jimmy Uso also did very bad last time, but he survived, which is the most important thing. Jimmy Kimmel, who just won Vermont, did incredibly well last time. He performed much better last primary, so it's going to be interesting to see how the results of last primary have an effect on this primary and this round. Jimmy Kimmel has won Rhode Island, so that's about half the Jimmys have won states so far. Jimmy Fallon has won his 3rd state. Damn, that's pretty impressive if you ask me. Other Jimmys include Jimmy Chamberlain, Jimmy Donaldson, and yeah, Jimmy Uso. Those are the only other Jimmys, which Jimmy Chamberlain just won New York. Jimmy Chamberlain. Jimmy Hart. New Jersey has been won by Jimmy Donaldson, aka Mr. Beast, meaning that Mr. Beast has won his 1st state. I believe the last person to win his state is going to be Jimmy Uso, which he just did. He just won Delaware, so that's great for Jimmy Uso to finally win a state. Okay, Mr. Beast has won Maryland. Okay. So right now, the people in last place, actually, last place is tied between Jimmy Chamberlain and Jimmy Uso, but it's not really that reliable right now because we still have so many more states to go. The results could very easily change, even just a few states from now, so, anything can happen. Jimmy Uso just won Virginia, so congrats to Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Hart has won North Carolina. Barely. He barely won the state from Mr. Beast. Very close. Also, South Carolina barely took it from Mr. Beast as well. Again, even closer. Damn, another one for Jimmy Hart. He's got these people's hearts. Jimmy Chamberlain has won Florida, so congrats to him on that. Okay, Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso's won Alabama. Alabama gonna become a Bama. Alabama gonna become a Bama. Ooh, close. That almost went to Mr. Beast, but it went to Jimmy Hart. I'm starting to notice a pattern. If Mr. Beast almost winning a state, but then Jimmy Hart takes it. Jimmy Hart is definitely in 1st place right now. That's for sure. And Jimmy Uso is definitely doing much better now. He was struggling at the very start, but he's definitely kind of gained a lot of that momentum. See, Jimmy Uso just won Arkansas as well. Jimmy Uso, he's doing pretty fine, He got a lot of states. He's chilling. Damn, another state for Jimmy Uso. That's a lot of states that Jimmy Uso has just won. Damn. Yeah, Jimmy Hart. It seems to be just most of these states are literally just going to either Jimmy Uso or Jimmy Hart. I mean, just Jimmy Uso or Jimmy Hart. These are basically all the states right here that, there's one Jimmy Chamberlain. Well, technically, I guess 2 Jimmy Chamberlains now because he just won West Virginia. But, damn. Jimmy Kimmel has won Ohio. Jimmy Kimmel started off doing great. He kind of fell off there later, but he's still not in last place. Wait, that's not Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's doing worse than I thought he was. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's doing awful. Jimmy Kimmel's doing really damn bad this primary. Maybe he can, rise in momentum again, but it's not looking too great for Jimmy Kimmel right now. Jimmy Fallon definitely is doing much worse this primary too. He just won Michigan, but he's only got 4 states, which is quite bad, but he's still doing better than Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Uso has won Wisconsin, so congrats to Jimmy Uso for winning Wisconsin. Jimmy Chamberlain has won Illinois, which is quite impressive, because that's a big state. Too bad it doesn't count. Too bad we're not counting electoral votes here. Yeah, Jimmy Chamberlain is doing pretty bad. He just won Missouri, so he's kind of doing a bit better now. But in general, Jimmy Chamberlain definitely is going to need to win, quite a bit more states in order to be considered safe. Although he's still doing better than Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel did really well last primary, and now he's kind of falling off to the point to where he was before. Irrelevancy. Mr. Beast is also, however, not doing too hot. He's also struggling this primary as well. 3 states is pretty bad. Jimmy Chamberlain has definitely won a lot more states up here. He's definitely in the clear for now. Don't know if he's going to stay that way, but he's absolutely in the clear for now. He's got enough states to definitely be fine for a while. Mr. Beast just won South Dakota, which means he's now officially ahead of Jimmy Kimmel. But the primary is far from over. Jimmy Fallon has won Nebraska. So, yeah, Jimmy Fallon, he's doing all right. He's not doing great, but he definitely has done better in later states. Jimmy Chamberlain has won Kansas. Who's going to win the state of Oklahoma, or Oklahoma, I guess? Is it going to be Jimmy Kimmel? Oh, it's going to be close between Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel. It's literally going to be on the line. Yeah, it was literally just so absolutely close for Jimmy Fallon. It just barely went Jimmy Fallon. Like, it was so close to tilting to Jimmy Kimmel, but it just didn't. Jimmy Uso has won Texas. So that's good. Jimmy Uso definitely has done much better in the South, but, he's still not doing too bad. He definitely kind of fell off after the South, though, for sure. But he's still got, a decent amount of states. Although Jimmy Hart also kind of fell off, I can't lie, he started to kind of fall off, too. Jimmy Fallon has started to pick up. Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Chamberlain have definitely started to pick up, whereas Jimmy Hart and Jimmy Uso have kind of started to fall off. Although Jimmy Uso, he's not going down without a fight. He won New Mexico. He narrowly won New Mexico. Jimmy Chamberlain almost won it, but alas, he still won New Mexico. Jimmy Kimmel has won Arizona, which is, a very good thing for this guy. He is struggling heavily. But Mr. Beast does not want to lose this race. He just won Utah as well. Him and Mr. Beast are heavily fighting for last place here. Heavily. Jimmy Chamberlain has basically solidified himself. He managed to get far enough ahead that he's basically safe now. But Jimmy, basically, it's Mr. Beast and Jimmy Kimmel that are the ones struggling the most here. By far, honestly. Both of them are going to have a hard time. And I don't know who's going to win this primary, because it's just so close between them. It may wind up being a tie again, and then Jimmy Kimmel may have the chance of surviving his 3rd tie, because he's tied last twice already, but he just survived the tie-breaking wheel. Jimmy Chamberlain has narrowly won Idaho. Mr. Beast almost won it, but unfortunately he couldn't do it in time. I think Mr. Beast is ahead of Jimmy Kimmel, but literally by 1 state. And then Jimmy Kimmel won Washington. Jimmy Kimmel has won Washington. They are fighting. Mr. Beast and Jimmy Kimmel are fighting. They are fighting big time to pass the other. Jimmy Chamberlain is doing so damn good. Jimmy Hart fell off this primary. He has won. Okay, right as I say that, he wins the state. The state of California could determine the winner of this round of the primary, because I'm pretty sure that Jimmy Kimmel and Mr. Beast are tied last in states, so California could be the tiebreaker. If California's the tiebreaker, Mr. Beast has won, because Mr. Beast won California, which means that it could be over for Jimmy Kimmel here. We'll have to wait and see. Yep. Mr. Beast won California, which means that it was over for Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel put up a great fight. He lost twice, but won the tie-breaking wheel both times, twice in a row, and survived. That in itself is kind of crazy. He did really well last primary, but unfortunately, he has failed. And Jimmy Kimmel has been eliminated from the Jimmy Party presidential primaries. What a wild ride that Jimmy Kimmel went on, but unfortunately was not enough to get him elected. Goodbye.